Hi, this is Elizabeth Clare Brewington with Elton, and we are with Discover Brightside on the Brightside Express going around the world. So tell us, Scott, where you're from and tell us all about it.
Okay, thank you. I am from New Jersey, USA, and just the way I like to do this, like Elizabeth, may I give you and your listeners a message today?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, hi, I'm Scott. I'm a psychologist in human and spiritual development. I'm an author and a lifelong spiritual seeker. And today I want to share with you something that's not just happening, but it's accelerating. And what I'm referring to is a global spiritual awakening. Some of you may have been hearing about this, and there's a few aspects to this. And what it means overall is that there's a significant reshaping of how we understand ourselves, one another, and our place in the universe. It's a new phase for humanity that's happening now. And there's a lot of background to that. I don't want to get into that now, but there's two things that I've been observing that this awakening is coming through. And they both impacted me. I'm going to tell you about one part of them today. And basically, it follows my life of passionately following religious and spiritual, rules, regulations. I went to several Protestant denominations. I was an elder, a teacher, a seminary student, and I sought after God with all my heart. These are all Protestant denominations. And in spite of that, in spite of doing everything, my life still fell apart, and I entered into a very dark place. Um, I'm not proud of this, but one time, and I was probably 42 or so, I was in the midst of a divorce. I had no money. Things were looking very bleak. And I started to drink. It was like a Thursday night. And around 2 a.m., I was well into my second bottle of wine, and things were just ramping up in my mind. And I decided I couldn't take it anymore. God was MIA. The God that I knew and loved that for decades was not there. And I was very angry. But that was it. I had a motorcycle. I knew exactly where I could go on the Garden State Parkway, New Jersey, where there was an abutment. If I got my bike up to 125, I knew it would all be over. So I kind of, I was a little wobbly, but I got my keys and I was heading for the door. I was going to do this because it was done. I couldn't do it anymore. But the door going out of my kitchen, it didn't open. I unlocked it and it wasn't opening. And I pulled it and the door exploded like with a force and threw me back onto the floor across the kitchen floor. And the next thing I knew, I woke up in the morning, the sun was out, I was on the floor, the door was open, I had a horrible headache. So I took a handful of Advil and went to work. But what that did to me, even though it was a collapse, it became a turning point for me. So instead of going back to church, I just said, like, no, I need a break from that. So I spent time learning about meditation, quieting my mind for a few years. And in that time, I was still looking for a real spiritual connection. So I dove into psychology and spent the next 7 years exploring how our minds perceive and experience the divine, and how we process spirituality. And I also learned about modern day spiritual sources. And that's when everything changed for me. So I met a woman along the way. She was a psychic intuitive who worked, she claimed, with angels every day to help people. And she also had a podcast called A Psychic's Story. So at first I thought, hey, I'm a psychologist. This is all BS. I'm not gonna go, I'm not gonna spend time with this. But she was open and honest and genuine. So since she needed help producing her podcast, I offered to help. Short story is, after about a year, I was just blown away. This stuff is real. There's so many people out there helping others in ways no psychologist could do or even know about, and had a very impactful, a positive impact in their lives. So the woman, Nicole Bigley, and I decided to write this book called Looking for Angels, a guide to understanding and connecting with angels. And so I was still in somewhat disbelief. I wanted to take baby steps with this. And so that's how we built the book. I do a review of angels in the four major religions of the world: Judeo-Christian, Islam, Hindu, and Buddhism. Then I do a section on psychology, a section on science of angels. And then the second half of the book is taking people step by step. Just like you never knew anything about it, step by step. What is an angel? All the different angels. The archangels, the seraphim, the cherubim, the archangels. So and who are they and how to connect. Just again, step by step, quieting your mind, doing some meditations. And it's amazing to me that after about a year, probably less than that, I learned how to build a real and robust relationship with angels and experience firsthand how they can be our guides and protectors and teachers. And they're available to all of us. That's what all these people said. You can do this yourself. And I'm like, BS, I'm not, you kidding me? I'm not doing that. But when you get into it, when you start looking into how to connect, we all can do this. And the key is the spoiler, all you need to do is ask. So, for anyone that's curious or cautious about angels, about this is, it's good for you because it's good. It was good for me. It's a bridge between the seen and the unseen world, and a guide to help you connect. The important thing is, it's not meant to replace your current religion, your beliefs about God, Jesus, whoever your deity is. It's a way to deepen your spiritual connection right now. So the second part, as I mentioned, is awkward awakening that gets into another several phases of this global awakening, and it gets into the science of consciousness and dimensions and our galactic heritage. And that's not for now, but that's the second part of at least what I am seeing how this awakening is rolling out. So if you're happy with your beliefs, that's fine. You don't have to believe or accept anything I just said. But if you're feeling the stirrings of something deeper, or if you sense the world is changing and you're meant to be a part of it, or need some extra help, I invite you to explore this journey with me. And you can learn more about me and my resources at angelintraining.org. Thank you for being here. I leave you with this, and thank you for allowing me to serve.
Wow, wow. I didn't know there was so much about angels. My goodness.
Thank you so
That's
much
a
for
lot
that,
of
Scott.
news.
I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Let me just stop recording. So you're watching Discover Brightside. If you like what Scott was saying, write a comment, get his book, and also make sure that you write a review. Reviews make an author famous. So it's up to you to keep the authors alive. And one of my goals with Bill and his wife Joanne is literacy. We want you to read more, write more reviews, get more involved with reading. And if you don't like to read, guess what? We'll show you how. So just come to any of our Brightside events. You'll meet some amazing authors, and I can teach you how to read if you don't like reading, because that's going to be my mission, to get you to read more, buy more books, start a library. That's what it's all about. Give books away as prizes or gifts. So just get Scott's book. Thank you for watching Discover Brightside.